Alright, what's going on, guys? Today is Wednesday. Little hunt day action. Picked up a couple days ago the engine tin you see here, black powder coat, semi-gloss from the powder coater. Local crew. Looks pretty good. I've always blasted this stuff and painted it, but with the imperfections of the older metal, some of the pitting and stuff that you can see here, the powder coat really adhered to this well, and I think looks better. Basically just capping up what I have going on. Engine tin, as you see, has been installed. A couple things I do want to point out is Type 4 has this seal in between the engine tin and the oil cooler. That's a must. Make sure you do that. Another one that people overlook, but is good. Let's see if I can get to it. Your oil pressure sending unit, that boot right there, do it. It's stupid, 10 bucks, 12 bucks, whatever for a little boot. It's asinine, but do it. One that's not really necessary, but looks good. This dude here, that's there. Of course, this hole here is gonna have a grommet as well. Still trying to source it. This is where the alternator wiring comes in. Recall Type 4 motors, the fan shroud, the fan housing, the hub housing goes here, the doghouse. Not really a doghouse, but you know, the cooling housing goes there. Alternators here. This is powder coated. This is the bracket, goes on top of the fan shroud for the alternator. These are new German motor mounts. That's the bracket, of course, to hold down our ignition coil on our fan shroud. That's the flap for the cooling tin. So I kind of got it placed out here, kind of in the position in which these items go. A couple things that I'm still lacking: oil fill tube, which is this dude here. I need to continue to scuff it up, wipe down with alcohol, and paint it. I'm going to blast this, paint this cap. This is the dude that goes on the bottom of the fan shroud in between the heater boxes. Make a little cork gasket, the hot air for the heat. These are our brackets. You know, our brackets for our mustache bar. That's the mounts that these dudes go into. This is what stabilizes the engines. And don't quote me on that orientation. I always get this shit wrong and I gotta look it up. But these are the metal brackets for the mustache bar, the engine mount. That, of course, goes on the fan hub. I need to blast and paint that as well. So a couple things that are holding me back, wrapping up the front half of this engine. I did install the lifters, push rod tubes, the push rods. I got the rocker assemblies on. This is a hydraulic lifter engine. If you guys have caught the video of me preloading those hydraulic lifters, that's what this little gelato can of ice cream was for. Basically preloaded those. I let them set for about a week and came back, pumped them up, and because it's tricky to do with them assembled, but it can be done. Just takes a little time. Hydraulic lifters clearance basically come out to be 0.006 of an inch. Preset is going to be to back this dude off. This is all in the Bentley manual, but basically just back off this valve adjusting screw on the rocker assembly back till there's no threads. Mate the screw to the top of the valve. 2 additional full turns clockwise. Tighten down your nut. That valve's good to go. Of course, you're doing that at top dead center. Gasket hardware kit stuff. This is the stuff that's still lacking to be on. Of course, you can see some stuff on the bottom. Copper is going to be the exhaust. These are the gaskets in the stock. Manifold going from the heater boxes to the muffler. That's case half stuff. I didn't actually split the case on this particular engine. Some grommets, gaskets, a couple things. That little one there, black one, goes into the flywheel. Some shims, head shims. I don't use head shims. I deck and I lap the head to the to the cylinder itself. Intake gaskets. Strainer, flywheel. So these are our gaskets that we got left over. I haven't used them. There's a few items that you're going to have left over because these kits are kind of like a universal application for the 1.7 to the 2 liter. But you'll use most of this stuff up. Little plastic wheel here, special shoulder bolt. That's for the thermostat. Of course, I need to clean this guy up as well. And I need to test it with some hot water, make sure she's working. But that mounts to, just like that, on the side of the engine case. And this wire comes up. Let's see if I can show you guys here. Rough what we got going on here. So that's going to bolt to the side of the engine case. And it comes up and it travels on that little pulley. Comes up through here, the engine tin, and it'll attach to the linkage that goes in between the engine tin and the fan shroud. They stay closed, engine heats up properly, distributes heat to the cylinders. That way the engine warms up not just from the center internally, but the outside portions of the cylinder wall. Theory there is that the engine as an entity, as a whole, is being warmed up together versus just certain portions, and it transcending or it distributing the heat out from the inside out to prevent premature wear, things of that nature. And that thermostat operates this dude. So overall, powder coating looks really good. The engine looks good. This thing is coming together very nicely. Here's one of the Victor Ryan's little universal kits. Of course, I'm a bus depot dude. I'm in Arkansas, and from PA, I can get stuff in about 2-3 days. I can tell in the last couple of years they've gotten busier, which is a good thing. So delivery is not as prompt as it used to be, but still pretty good, and it gets quality stuff and good pricing, you know, all that good shit. So grommets and stuff, fuel inlet. This is a GE 2-liter case. It's going into that 73 bus. So I'm going to be running a it's a Carter fuel pump. I can't remember. It runs about 45 bucks off Amazon. It's a good pump. I've been using them on a handful of buses. As a matter of fact, through the bus there, you can see the double cab. I got one on there as well. So we run a fuel line in there. I got to run a setup for the brake booster on this bus, on this motor. Customer is wanting a single carb setup. So I'm, weighing my options. There's not a whole lot because of the intake tubes to the manifolds are so long. Cause icing issues and whatnot. But here in Arkansas, the temperature variation is not too drastic. I've ran, oh goodness, the Webers and the empty knockoff of the Weber 3236 on these Type 4 motors. And I've had pretty good success on it running with a single vacuum distributor. So 2-liter coming together. Bottom end's now buttoned up. Oh, and the valve covers, they're in the blast cabinet. They're sitting next to it. I need to blast those as well and have a nice engine and a nice bus when it comes time. But today's progression, take your time, follow the book. Tom Wilson? Yeah, Tom Wilson's a red book, how to build your Volkswagen, how to keep it alive, some shit. It's a little red book. Tom Wilson's got an engine on the front of it. It's a great book. I've borrowed it numerous times. I've actually finally given it back to a friend who I borrowed it from. But follow the book, torque specs, follow them. There's a reason why there's certain types of or degrees of strength, tightening onto fasteners. Follow the rule. Quick breakdown of how to put engine tin on, because it can be kind of tricky. The section here that goes above the oil cooler goes in before the 3 and 4 main engine tin goes on. So you have basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the bottom 10 on the back, 6, and 7. Of course, you're going to have some that go up underneath the the push rod tubes, and I need to paint those as well, because when I tore this engine apart, it was lacking those. Don't tighten everything up. Get things started to kind of hold things in place, because you're going to have to kind of finagle things and maybe clamp down to get the two pieces of engine tin to mate to help you get a screw started. But it can be done. Start your internal pieces, work your way out. get things started once it's all situated, and then come by, through with the final tightening sequence of all the items. And that's it. Stay tuned, keep following. Appreciate you. If you have any questions on anything that's going on, give me a shout. I'll be happy to direct you one way or another. So be good, guys, and until the next video.